Today, I'm here to tell you a story of corruption, filled by betrayal, abuse of powers, scandal, and cheaters running rampant with no consequences, all perpetuated by two server owners who both are banned from several servers themselves for cheating. I'll be taking you on a journey today and showing you compilations of clips, interviews, and evidence of said corruption from numerous members of the community, admins, and the owners themselves. Today is about truth. Welcome to Outlaws DayZ. Before we get into the evidence in this video, I feel it's important that you know who I am. My name is Fezy, and I've been playing DayZ since 2019 with over 5,000 hours logged on this game. I have an extensive history with the owners of this server, from being allied with them on Sunnyvale's Deer Isle server in October of 2022 to helping them start Outlaws by doing a significant amount of beta testing and providing feedback. All of this unofficial, as I was never involved in being staff for the server, but knew everybody that was staff, including the server owners. This video is going to provide a lot of insight into the corruption with evidence of all accusations made. There are several teams that have played on Outlaws server and a list of server admins from different servers that have come together to make this possible. Please keep in mind that a majority of the teams and players that have come forward with evidence for this video were enemies and competed against each other on Outlaws. So the evidence shared here shows the overall spectrum of corruption on Outlaws by several parties that were not playing together. My hopes are to provide you with a non-biased, fully immersive video with a plethora of evidence on the corruptions behind Outlaws DayZ and its owners. I want to start the story off by telling you about over a year ago when me and my friends started playing on the Outlaws servers. My team did several months of beta testing for the owners of these servers, which started on the Winter Trinaris server that they had at the time. At the time, they only had two servers, which was this server and a Deer Isle server. During our initial time on this server, there was one specific clan which we will focus on today and discuss how they were not only blatantly cheating, but that the owners did nothing to prevent them from cheating despite being told about them and shown dozens of videos over the course of 4 to 5 days of playtime. That clan is RCD1. We were based in a castle southwest of La Patina, and RCD1 was based about 2 kilometers away from us in a huge industrial area. The first time we encountered them was at airfield. Take a look at this. Somehow, without even encountering our crew before, after wiping all of us within seconds, they call out in the chat, "Where's Batty?" Batty Faye was the only person on our entire team that had survived the fight and was leaving airfield. There were 20 people on the server at the time besides our crew. How would they have known about our sole surviving teammate's name? It gets better. Take a look at this clip. Yeah, says the guy's clearly like, how?
Huh?
How? Did you peek?
No? I don't peek.
Now you would think, maybe they're within audio range. Maybe they heard them opening the hatch and everything, and that's how they figured out where they were at. Well, during this clip, we were about 100 meters in the air, which in itself is out of audio range. But when you account for the fact that we had a perimeter wall around that entire castle, which I'll picture again here for you, it's more like 150 to 200 meters. It's impossible that they heard us. And yet, they're shooting tapper shots directly at our location, right through the wall. Oh yeah, and here's another clip of me going up to the roof to just look around in a complete blizzard, which is about 40 to 50 meters of visibility. And would you look at that? I get killed as soon as I walk on the roof, and if you look at the video closely, I can't see anything, and neither can they. And just to add icing on the cake, if you think that there's possibly a way that they saw me from an angle that I wasn't aware of when I peeked over, here is a clip of them shooting at me when I was in the middle of the roof with no visibility from any direction.
I didn't get shot at.
Oh, there it is.
He just shot at me? So all of this was immediately reported to Governor and Jason, and they didn't issue any bans, despite Governor stating that they were cheating and that we were going to catch them with video, regardless of all of the video that I had turned in, I guess, wasn't enough evidence. So they hosted an event and asked us to come to it so they could catch them while they were online. And yeah, here's a clip of them shooting me through a wall right in front of admins, with Governor himself saying that there was no hole in the wall. Take a look at this.
Yeah, it's a really...
How do they know I'm right here, dude?
I would honestly just...
Look at this.
They're fucking cheating.
Look at this.
Move away from the door. Move away from the door.
What? Yeah. So these guys never got banned, by the way. Despite admins and the owners all being at this event and seeing all this going on, and 3 of our other teammates dying as well. So they ended up quitting the server, and here's Governor's response to that. And that concluded our time on Winter Chinaris. Now we move to Deer Isle, where we truly start to see the corruption in the Outlaws administration and the server owners. Now let's get into the serious talk and talk about the corruption behind the administration on the server and the server owners. Let's start off by talking about Cartel, which by far was the biggest crew on this server for the seasons 1 through 3 that we were competing with them for. While we were playing the server during season 2, we noticed that a bunch of information in tickets that we had created had been brought up in global chat or Discord messages. Strange, as all the tickets are private information on any server you play, but I guess not on Outlaws. There were numerous occasions where an admin or multiple admins had leaked information from our tickets to Cartel. And also, there was an admin that reached out to Q&E with a screenshot of one of the tickets that Cartel had made. His name is Will, and you will be hearing about him a lot more very shortly. Then we started noticing early in the wipe that Cartel had a lot more endgame gear right off the bat. One of our guys was at Safe Zone and captured this video. Take a look at this.
Hey, nice gun, bro.
Lovely, ain't it?
Nice
Made it yourself.
gun. Yeah, you made it yourself? That
Yeah,
looks a lot
yeah.
like a cartel gun to me.
You can have it if you want it.
That's a beautiful looking cartel gun. You know, I paid
want it?
$200 for that.
Right, yeah.
Look at that.
There you go,
See
you
that?
can have it.
Cartel Barrett.
It does seem to be a little bit. Not bad. Let me find here it is.
Bro, Jovel is
Sorry
just...
if you don't like the colour.
Jovel is dropping 50 cows and helis to Don
Oh.
Pablo in Safe Zone right now.
I would like to mention that, from my research, I do not believe that Jovel intended to cause any harm by his actions. He is an older gentleman that genuinely wants to help people. My problem with his actions are that the server owners and other head admins knew that he was doing these things and did nothing to stop him and resolve the unfair advantage he was giving certain teams, which you will see here in a second.
Oh. Right. So you could do with some gear then, I suppose. There you go, that'll help you out.
Now, for context, within 6 hours of the server wiping, this head admin is seen spawning in a barrack to one of the cartel members telling him, well, it's your clan skin, do you want it? There's been numerous times that cartel was provided with helicopters, tappers, gear sets, among other things within days of the wipe. When this was brought to Cody, one of the head admin's attentions, he said, and I quote, he sort of does his own thing and doesn't listen, he's done loads in the past, he's gotten better, but... There's absolutely no accountability for his actions that damaged the gaming experience for everyone on the server. Not only that, but nothing was done to prevent this from happening in the future, which it has. What you're seeing now is clips that were given to me by Q&E of one of their members, Sir Takes a Lot, getting several items given to him as well by the same admin. Q&E did provide me with a video showing them destroying certain spawned weapons that they were given by this admin, which I featured here.
Well, you know, just take them all, I'm not bothered. Alright then. Don't mind me. Like I say to you, anybody asks you, you found it. Do you know what I mean? Don't mention me, because your rivals get a bit jealous. You know, the other big group. They put a ticket in the other day against me. I'll give them loads of stuff. Just a pain in the back.
In addition to this, you can see in this next video where an admin called out numerous enemy players' locations to one of Q&E's members that he was helping with a ticket without this member asking him to.
I could run back there right now. It'd probably take me like 5-10 minutes, less than 10.
Right. Well, there's players near you. Cass, Wick, and Rem. They're 900 meters away. They're your mates.
Wick and Rem are.
Yeah, right. About class, CLASS.
No, he's enemy.
BOTESL. They're 500 meters away.
Alright.
The location issue was never addressed by admins, but there was a post addressing the ticket meta and item giveaways. Here's the official announcement from Jason regarding the ticket and items. His response to this is to institute a new rule that admins can no longer give an unfair advantage to any one player. So for the last 10 months, they've been running competitive servers that are max pop because there was no defined rule about this, it was seen as okay to give players endgame gear and vehicles at the beginning of wipe, I guess. This also did not solve the issue as you've seen from previous clips, but was more of a cover our ass post than anything. Outlaws is a CFTool server, so you're meaning to tell me that over the course of 3 months, the admins had absolutely no idea that excess items and vehicles and all sorts of other things were being spawned in for a team? Right. Okay, so moving on. Do you remember the admin Will that I had mentioned earlier in this video? We're going to talk about him and his involvement with the cartel. On July 13th, 2023, a huge argument started in the Outlaws Discord about cartel being spawned in items and being leaked ticket information. After all of this came out in Discord, Vital, a previous member of Cartel, started sharing a lot of additional information the community was not aware of at the time. Will had been communicating with Vital and several other Cartel members about base locations of enemy players. Also, they were spawning in heavy C4 in droves for Cartel to raid said base locations on 2 separate occasions that are known of and documented. The second time it's unknown how much C4 Will provided to Cartel, but for the first base of Brismax, it was 20 heavy C4. Just for reference, if you're grinding C4 with a huge clan on the server, this can take anywhere from 5 days to a week to achieve legally. If that's not bad enough, a second admin that was never named, which I will assume is not Will because he was not mentioned in the confession from Vital when he was exposing everything that Will had done, provided Cartel with an admin backpack and admin key in Season 1 of Outlaws. For those of you who do not know what those items are, they are custom admin items that are used by admins to handle ticket-related issues. An admin backpack has 1,000 slots of storage, and an admin key can unlock any vehicle on the server. After sharing this, he talked about how their group used these admin tools late at night to steal enemy helicopters from Q&E and a prison base. He stated that there were several helicopters stolen from both teams that wipe. And get this, he also stated that tickets were made to admins, which they knew about due to Will or the second admin, about their helis despawning. And admins were compensating them for each heli that was stolen. What gets me about this is the admins had numerous tickets and reports that something weird was happening, and instead of looking into it like they should have, they blatantly ignored that something fishy was going on. Both Vital and Mobile Smoke, who were members of Cartel, publicly admitted this happened during this discussion on Discord. They also named members that not only assisted with raiding with the C4 I mentioned earlier, but they also, at a minimum, knew of their team being in possession of admin items. Specifically, their names were Kanye, Pablo, Mobile Smoke, Barry, Clutch, Gorilla, and Vital. Some of those names obviously are abbreviated. Let's revisit that update from Jason, which came 5 days after this happened on July 18th. Only one of them were banned and then immediately unbanned 5 days later after Jason stated there was not a rule about accepting items from admins at the time. Absolutely ridiculous. Despite telling the community 5 days prior on several occasions that they would be banning everybody involved, nobody was banned. Several of these players still play on Outlaws Deer Isle server today with Cartel, and Cartel is still a prominent group on the server. Something else about Jason's announcement that's worth mentioning is how he drags Q&E into the mix and gives equal blame for what has occurred, despite Q&E being mentioned in the Discord as the ones that brought all this to his attention, and being shown videos of spawned weapons being destroyed afterwards. This is hardly a fraction of what occurred that Cartel was responsible for, yet Q&E is also blamed. Obviously, this upset Q&E, and they made some comments in the same Discord channel that the argument occurred in days before. Jason responded to these comments by saying that they were not only late in telling him about it, but denied their tickets were being leaked, despite being shown by this point numerous occurrences where someone definitely leaked ticket information, and that all of the extra information he was so eagerly ready to ban people over 6 days prior were now rumors. Obviously, there is some extreme bias towards Q&E coming from the owners of this server. Which brings us to our next discussion about the corruption behind the Outlaws owners. So I want to start this section out by sharing with you a bit of background information that will start to explain some of the disdain that Q&E has received from Jason and Prophecy, the owners of Outlaws, up to this point. And it will also explain about the section of evidence I'm about to show you. Jason and Prophecy were members of Q&E during the summer of 2022. They played with the group for about 2 months when something happened between the people running the group at the time and them that caused them to be kicked out of Q&E. Throughout this section, I will be featuring an interview that I conducted with people who were a part of the clan at the time and made the decision to remove Jason and Prophecy from the clan. Here's the first part of that interview. Now that we have some context behind the origins of this biased behavior coming from Jason and Governor, who played under the names of Prophecy and 2Pump at the time, which you'll see come up reoccurringly, we can start to look at Orton Homie and the cheater ban that was issued to him by Jason. First of all, I want to play you the video that was recorded by admins of Orton Homie and use as his ban evidence. This recording does not come with audio, so I will play the recording with my commentary in the background. Certain sections of this video may be sped up, as the video is 3 minutes and 19 seconds, but I will be sure to include the full video in the description of this if you care to watch it at normal speed. Some noteworthy things need to be mentioned about this video, one of them being that no kills occurred during this entire clip, despite Orton being on a 15+ kill streak right before this video was taken on the same life. Also, Stealthy, the player that Orton is seen looking at, was a teammate of ours, and this was recognized by Jason and Prophecy in the ticket but was not considered. All that I see Orton doing in this video is scanning tree lines before moving across open fields. It's also noteworthy to mention that this was not only after a very large fight, but right next to Hazelands and Airfield Hill, which is heavily trafficked on Deer Isle by players. They also have a section at the very end of this video which they skipped over footage to show him staring at an empty tree line, which I'm not sure why they included, but that is the evidence that they felt was worth giving him a cheater ESP ban on. That would be his first cheater ban in over 4,850 hours of DayZ playtime and 8,400 hours of PUBG. Also, I will be linking Orton's Metal account and Steam information in the description as well if you would like to take a look at over 1 terabyte worth of saved clips over the last 2 years if you're interested in seeing some of the kills that he has made. So it gets better. Wick, one of Q&E's members, makes a ticket about the ban immediately afterwards, in which this clip was shared with him, and Jason and Prophecy doubled down on it being enough evidence to ban Orton for ESP. They also falsely claim in this ticket that there were no teammates around, so he wouldn't have received any pings when Stealthy is clearly in the tree line across from him in this video. Not that it matters anyways, as he never ADSs or kills anyone during this entire clip. They also claim that he ran through a field without a gun, but as you can see from this video, he clearly had a gun in his hand the entire time. After this, Orton offers to let Jason and Prophecy do a full PC check on his computer, which is going above and beyond what should be required to provide evidence. Not only did they decline this, but they also mentioned that they will need raw footage from NVIDIA only, not Metal, which they knew Orton Homie used to record all of his clips, and that would be required to prove his innocence. It also has to be at the exact moment that they recorded him scanning a hillside 6 hours before they banned him. It's also noteworthy to mention that they bring up having multiple videos of him cheating, but are unwilling to show the other videos as they don't need to show them, as the one video they posted is enough proof. The additional videos that were requested several times in the ticket, and Jason also mentions that clips were taken within 10 seconds of him watching. Not sure I would call that due diligence when you're talking about tarnishing someone's reputation with the cheater ban. That will prevent them on playing over 80% or more of servers. there was no reason that their other videos of evidence, if they had any, shouldn't be provided to not only Wick in this ticket, but the server community. So now let's look at the proof that this was personal. Well, I guess it goes back to our interview with the original Q&E members. Over a year ago, the first thing that Jason tells Heated is, tell Orton not to get caught too, because then you can't have him kill everybody. Pretty obvious bias that started over a year ago. There's numerous screenshots of Jason messaging other players saying that known cheaters were playing with Q&E, and specifically referencing Orton in these. There was definitely a build-up tension from the time on other servers fighting against each other, and in my opinion, the evidence here shows that this ban was completely fabricated out of Jason and Prophecy's hatred of Orton, Homie, and Q&E. But if you thought it couldn't get any better, you just wait. Take a look at these clips.
If you can tell them or not, but we ended up, me and Governor started cheating, and we found out they were cheating too. So we watched them. As long as they're not cheating on this server, they're all good. It doesn't matter.
I don't know anybody that's cheating.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's because back in the day, we thought that shit was sus. We got cheats. We saw they were cheating. It was just all a bunch of fun fucking around Sunnyvale type shit, you know?
Yeah, you heard that right. That is Jason, otherwise known as 2Pump, the server owner of Outlaws, telling one of Q&E members that they downloaded cheats to fight against Q&E and Orton on Sunnyvale, Deer Isle. Not only does he mention this in the video, but apparently he's proud enough to announce it to the entire Outlaws community, which he did several times during this ban in global chat. Here's a full list of Jason Prophecy's accounts and the servers that they have been received bans on for using cheats. Not only did they cheat on servers before coming to Sunnyvale, but they also cheated on servers after they were banned on Sunnyvale. A server led by 2 cheaters who openly allows other members of the community to get away with it. While Jason was not shy about his past cheating bans on other servers, he failed to mention anything about using alt accounts to fight people on his own servers. Don't worry about that, Jason. I've got you covered on this one. Take a look at these pictures. Pax, an account that was linked to numerous clans running around Outlaws, including Bacon, has a large amount of playtime on Outlaws and is directly linked to Jason's main account. So not only did he cheat on other servers, he then loads into his server that he owns under an alias that nobody knows and gives other groups an unfair advantage while nobody knows he is playing the server. Absolute insanity. Oh, also, it's noteworthy to mention that well into these servers being up and running, you could purchase in-game items in bulletproof vehicles with real money. Check this announcement out that Jason posted after getting enraged regarding some accusations coming from the community. He says, "They purchased gear. I gave them all kits for their donator gear after buying it. Then, when this is brought up to Governor, he says, if a group is a problem, they will all be banned. Seems like a recurring theme for anyone who does something that these server owners are not fond of." Also, take a look at this clip where Governor admits that they were selling bulletproof vehicles for money, that it was not against Bohemia's terms of service. If you look at the terms of service regarding server monetization, it specifically states that selling in-game items cannot affect gameplay in any way. I would argue that selling people bulletproof vehicles and giving them tappers that they purchase for free would definitely affect gameplay. This is clearly a violation of Bohemia's terms of service. A couple of weeks ago, Don Pablo, the leader of Cartel, reached out to me to speak to me about something strange that had happened to his clan. While they were off raiding another rival group, Don Pablo was killed and had to respawn near his base and heard explosions going off, indicating that they were being raided. With this now being Cartel's primary focus, everyone rushed back to their base to defend this raid attempt. It's important that you understand that Cartel, at this time, was the largest and most established group on the server by far. No raid attempts had been made on them by anyone since Q&E attempted to raid them over 2 wipes ago. When arriving at the base, instead of finding a large group that was coordinated, all they found was a solo inside their base that was already 10 or more doors deep. Take a look at this video.
How long have they been raiding?
Shit.
I don't know who this guy is.
Who's shooting at?
Inside, it's the guy inside.
Oh. I'm gonna wait. Loading boxed.
The way he killed Doji was so fucking weird.
Bro, This
solo, with only freshie clothes, a ghillie poncho, and a PKP, had gotten deep into their base within a matter of 10 to 15 minutes. This would have taken 30 heavy breaching charges at least, which may have been able to be stored by somebody that was wearing a full kit, but certainly not somebody wearing just freshie clothes. This suggests that there were breaching charges spawned in, which brings us to the most important part of who was spawning in those explosives and raiding their base. Also, did you notice in that video how he ate an explosive grenade at point blank range and didn't die? That's because he had God mode on and wasn't taking any damage from the PKP sprays hitting him or the explosive or gas grenades that Cartel was using. So who was this guy that nobody had seen on the server before? These screenshots were provided by a higher-up admin in the Outlaws organization immediately after the videos you saw were taken. The smiley face guy? That was Governor, the owner of Outlaws. He started accusing Don Pablo of cheating and claims that he was doing cheater investigation by booming their base and PvPing with their crew. And it gets much worse. After this happened, Governor's account was unbanned immediately, and people started noticing a second Don Pablo running around on the server that seemed to be killing quite a lot of people and was almost certainly using hacks. Upon looking up this user's name on CF Tools, it linked right back to the same account that had raided their base the night before. Governor was using an alt account, linking it to Don Pablo's real account, and actively playing on his own server to blackmail Pablo. Even going as far to make his account's name an abbreviation of Don Pablo's real name. The crazy thing is, it doesn't stop with Don Pablo. This same Steam account's name changed a week later to George, who was the leader of Misfits, another large crew that was on Outlaws. Then, it changed to Bill, one of the higher-up members in the SNZ clan. During this time that's known of and documented, Governor was impersonating 10 different members of his community and using hacks on the server while playing with lookalike names to blackmail them as cheaters and give him further evidence to ban them. What's crazy is, he didn't even use the evidence to ban them. At 7:19 a.m. on November 3rd, every Cartel member was banned for undermining Outlaws staff, and zero evidence was provided as to how they undermined staff, other than to mention that they were working on a video showing corruption on their server. Surprise, Prophecy and Jason, that was me, not Cartel.
Got him! Got him!
Although banning them without any proof or evidence to cover your ass certainly did open the floodgates of information for my project, as Cartel had a significant amount of information to share with me. So thanks for that, boys. Now that we've covered what went on with Cartel, I got the chance to interview Pablo about his perspective on the corruption behind the admins and server owners of Outlaws. Take a look at what he has to say about the situation. A lot of interesting and juicy information there. Moving on now. Mars and Riku reached out to me with evidence that Outlaws owners were stealing other server mod packs and custom weapons skins. Specifically, we're going to talk about the mod pack OL Custom, one of the main mod packs on Outlaws. Take a look at these screenshots. In the code, you can see that there's an author and credits name that link back to Imperium, owner and developer for the server Silence Zone. When you look at the comments under the pack that this link directs you to, you can specifically see that he calls for no repacks on any of his mods, including on monetized servers. They didn't just repack part of Imperium's mod pack. They literally copied and pasted every bit of code to their server without his permission, effectively stealing his mod. I have covered quite a lot of information here, but if you can believe it or not, this is not everything that we have on the owners and admins of Outlaws. I felt that it was very important in my research to cover what I could regarding the major points of corruption behind the server. This video involved dozens of players and took well over 100 hours to create. I hope this was an enjoyable process for you as we unwrap the corruption behind this server and its owners. I will be including many assets in the description of this video, from links to people's servers that assisted me to a massive Google Drive box with all information and assets that I shared in this video, including more. If you're interested in learning more about the situation, please reference this drive. However, before ending this video, I would be remiss if I did not bring up my friend Wick, who helped me with whatever I needed for the first 50 hours I worked on this project. Unfortunately, my friend Wick passed away in a tragic motorcycle accident 3 weeks ago.
Oh, footsteps at me. There's Wick. Get out of my spot.
Here, Mike, take this.
That's fucking toxic, dude. That's crazy.
Fuck Outlaws, Wick forever.
Me on top with forever.
Oh hell.
My filters just stopped working.
Fuck Outlaws, fuck Prophecy, fuck Tupac. Wick forever, baby.
Times, man. Wick forever.
Love you, buddy. Wick forever.
Uni on top. Love you, Wick.
Rest easy, Wick forever.
I'm sorry, Rihanna.
His body, his dead body.
We'll never forget you, Wick forever.
Wick, we wish you were here to see this project be completed. I hope you're looking down on all of us smiling, brother. You are dearly missed. And I wouldn't have been able to complete this project without your help, my friend. Fly high and rest easy. We'll keep Doubletree warm for you. Wick forever.